Hi guys, welcome to your air mid-month reading. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting and subscribing to this channel. I really appreciate it. It keeps it going, so thank you guys so much for the loving support. And I am doing a contest to win a free reading with me on my Instagram in August. So go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Pleiadian Star Goddess Tarot, and you could possibly win a chance to get a free reading. And I will post the picture next month, and you'll be able to see how to enter. It's super easy and super quick. So I hope to see you guys on Instagram as well. So we're starting mid-month readings with air signs, and we're going to focus on Aquarius, Gemini, Libra specifically for this video, and then the videos to follow will of course be fire, earth, and water. But I wanted to give you guys this free mid-month reading because of the June situation. So now that we're out of that and we have awesome July readings for you guys to watch, now we're gonna get going with this mid-month reading, and we're gonna pull out love energy and what's to come for July mid-month. Okay, so first card out, Seven of Wands. Interesting card to start out for us because as an Aquarius, I know that we have been dealing with a lot of circulating frustration. It just keeps coming in like a hurricane. And for all air signs this month, we have been feeling this level of frustration, especially when it comes to communication. And that does have to do with the Mars retrograde in Aquarius, like we talked about. It is affecting all air signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We are the definition of let me figure it out myself. Let me just think about it and then I'll get back to you. I know that's how we work, so I don't have to explain that, especially to you guys. But yeah, we've been dealing with a lot of this up and down frustration for the month of July and last month as well. And it seems like it's continuing. And today is July 15th. So this reading is going to be for the 15th all up until, I'm going to say, August 1st. That's where I'm pulling this energy from. And like I talked about in the Aquarius video, okay, pause. 10 of Wands just came out as well. Like I talked about in the Aquarius video, we don't need to let Mars retrograde Aquarius affect us to the point where we are so dug deep in a hole that we have no hope of getting out of it. So there's a different way to approach this, and right now it looks like with the 10 of Wands and the 7 of Wands, it looks like we're still having a difficult time. Libra, as a Libra rising and Aquarius sun, I am right on this train with you, so I totally understand. It feels like almost this heavy burden, this burden that we haven't quite broken down yet. And I think we need to get out of the retrograde in order to break down this wall. It's just taking a toll on us mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically. We can take things personal when we don't normally tend to do that as air signs. I mean, in the big grand scheme of things, we don't really take things on a personal level, because we can kind of be cerebral about it and think about it and kind of analyze and say, okay, yeah, that person said that to me, but I'm not going to take it too seriously because they're just deflecting and they really just have their own warped reality of whatever reality they live in. So we can get to that stage. Sometimes it takes longer than we'd like it to, but yeah, we're still dealing with this battle of communication, frustration when it comes to passions. We're craving something creative. We're craving this, here we go, 9 of Pentacles, beautiful card. We're craving this energy of successful abundance. And it doesn't mean that we are never going to feel satisfied when it comes to our creative projects or our career, whatever that may be. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It's not going to go the way we want it to go, but it's just taking a while for the majority of air signs. And air signs, you know, we've been dealing with a lot of, okay, here we go, Knight of Wands. We've been dealing with a lot of ups and downs when it comes to mental and emotional health, and trying to separate ourselves and maybe kind of become distant because it's easier for air signs. It's easier for us to separate ourselves from the situation rather than getting really deep and repetitive into it and getting into it to the point where it's just exhausting and boring. We get bored really easily, and that goes for all air signs. And Gemini and Libra, I know that you guys have been dealing with a certain person that is really digging their talons into you and not letting you kind of fly free and be the air that you are. And we need air to survive, right? A lot of people, like fire signs and earth signs, may not understand that. They may skip over that and they may think, oh yeah, air is just one of those, you know, signs that doesn't really have any input on things. They're always scatterbrained. They don't really know what they want. And that's just not true. Air signs are some of the hardest working people and some of the most successful when it comes to intellect and being cerebral and really getting down to figuring out the way things work in a scientific way and in an artistic way. So don't downplay air signs if you're cross-watching this. Don't downplay air signs. And this can be for, I'm talking about air signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, and Venus signs, and Mars signs, if you want to throw that in there. But the way that we work is not to be figured out. It's not to be analyzed. We can analyze ourselves all we want, but that's a water sign's job. We are better at analyzing a situation and then deciding very quickly if we should put more time and energy into it or not. If something approaches us, we can say, yeah, not worth our time. Get out of here. Or we can say, yeah, I want to spend my time and energy and effort into this situation or this person. We we can let go of you if you are toxic or no longer serving us in a positive way. We don't have a problem with that. Libras, Geminis, and Aquarius. We don't have a problem with letting you go if you don't have any benefit in our lives in a positive way. And since we have the full moon total lunar eclipse on July 27th in Aquarius, this is going to be a very important time to let go of the things that no longer serve us, the people that no longer serve us. And we can have someone that's kind of on the sidelines. We could be or have been entertaining someone that's kind of just, you know, here and there, in and out of our lives. But on the full moon total lunar eclipse, we need to decide right then and there if we're going to just let that person go for good or if we're going to invite them into our lives even deeper. And it's also a good time to stay indoors if you can and really just be really calm and cool and collected that day. It'll be very beneficial to release anger, resentment, frustration, blockages. So look forward to that. July 27th. And what I'm getting now is okay, here we go. So the Chariot flipped over. What I'm getting now is a reading that makes a lot of sense to only air signs. So with this energy with the Chariot, we just came out of that new moon in Cancer. So we were feeling that emotional Cancerian energy, and it was kind of pulling at us and kind of making us feel like, oh no, I don't want to go down this emotional route. Take me out of it. And we get really frustrated sometimes as air signs if something is hitting us really hard emotionally. We kind of get awkward about it, and we would kind of just we'd rather just fight it off, and we'd rather just tell people to leave us alone. And that's a big thing when it comes to relationships, because a lot of people, if you're not an air sign, a lot of people like to be around people during emotional times. Air signs typically don't. So with us carrying this heavy burden of not really knowing how to communicate, or just not communicating very well, how we're feeling emotionally and how we're going to charge through and push through this Cancer energy, then we're really just sitting here like, okay, I don't know how to explain this to you, and there's really almost no point, because you're going to come at me anyway, and you're going to try to penetrate my emotions, and you're going to try to open a door that I don't want to open. And meanwhile, we have this bliss, we have this content, we have this stability. So we don't really need people to worry about us, air signs. Aqua, Gemini, Libra, we don't really need you to bother us during a time of a major shift. Okay, I'm going to pull goddess cards now, just as an extra little bonus for a mid-month reading. And you know what? It's such a special time for growing emotionally, right, air signs? We could have a fire sign in our life. We could also have a Cancer or a Virgo. But there could be a fire sign, Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. There could be someone in our life that's trying to get at us and trying to understand us. And really, we should just tell them to not try because they're not really going to get anywhere. Okay, we have sacrifice. We have Mother Mary's sacrifice. And she brings peace in the decision-making process when we need to decide what we're going to sacrifice. So this is a good thing for us to hear. Are we going to sacrifice our time, our energy, our emotional vulnerability? Or are we going to choose to stay alone in it and figure it out for ourselves? Okay, here's a Gemini card, criticism. So there's a fear here. There's a big fear of feeling criticized as an air sign. We don't like to feel like we are giving too much because the backlash in the past has been brutal. Like as soon as we expose ourselves as air signs, what do we get back? Criticism, judgment. And it is a huge sacrifice and it is a huge deal to kind of marry this idea of I'm healthy and I'm a strong, independent woman and I have healthy thoughts, married with I don't want to talk to you, don't talk to me, I'll get over it myself, don't bother me. So it's kind of this like idea that we have to marry and we have to combine into this Mother Mary energy where it's like I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of my emotional vulnerability so that I can have a healthy, happy relationship. Okay, here's the other goddess cards that came out. We have Mother Regeneration, Sagittarius energy, which is beautiful because if we have a Sagittarius in our lives, they could really want us to open up. And that could be really beneficial to us. But we also don't want to make the mistake of, oh, I've opened up to you before and you either used it against me or I regretted it because we are no longer as close as we once were. Okay, and then we have Child Creative Spark. Beautiful fire energy as well. Digging into that energy of creativity and the way that we express ourselves. So think about it like as a child, when you would express yourself, it would all just be like an emotional thing because we didn't really have a way to, as children, to analyze it and think about it before it came out of our mouths. So having that child creative spark and that energy really does help us navigate this situation of I'm going to close you off, I'm going to close you down, let me just figure this out on my own versus okay, let me be a little bit more vulnerable and open myself up and see what happens and if it could be a positive thing. And then we have the moon. Okay, this Pisces energy, which is all about breathing into our intuition and listening to ourselves. And air signs, we are so in tune and we are so good at reading other people. So if you don't want to tell somebody something because you're afraid of criticism and judgment, then just don't do it. If that's your first instinct, that you think this person is going to judge you or criticize you, don't even go there. Just don't do it. Only do it, only open up if we have this ability to, where the sacrifice is not going to cause us harm. Okay, does that make sense? Sorry, there's people screaming at the pool over there. But But I want to be clear that I'm not saying open up to everybody and everything will be cool and peachy. I'm just saying that I know as air sign, Libra, rising, Aquarius, sun, that I can really connect with you guys. And especially with the Gemini reading I just did, it's that who do I trust energy coming in. And once we charge through that, and once we really push through the ones that we know we can't trust, the only way to do that is by opening up just a little bit and making that sacrifice of like, hey, I'm feeling this way. And then based on their response, it doesn't really matter how they respond, because we'll know based on our instinct if they have our back or not, and if they're going to use it against us or not, and if they really deeply care. So once we're out of the Mars retrograde in Aquarius in August, we can really start to not worry about the emotional roller coaster anymore. And we can open ourselves up to starting a new, passionate, creative project that we've been really wanting to do. We just maybe don't know what it is yet, but it will happen. We just have to maybe get out of this Mars retrograde. Okay, I think that's a pretty solid reading for a mid-month. And of course, as always, if you guys want a private reading, my link is down below, JulianaMeredith.com, and you can book directly through there. And then also follow me on Instagram to possibly win that free private reading. There will be one winner in August, so look for the post on my Instagram at Palladian Star Goddess Tarot, and we can see if you win or not. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting and subscribing, and I will see you guys next month.